Hey everyone, my name is Brittany. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'll be reading a hell of a lot of books for April.
It's Brittany, bitch.
So I will be participating in the spring readathon, the Orillium magical readathon, all that fun garbage. So I will be participating, I did decide like mid-month. So I'm actually going to get started today. It's mid-April. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to do this, but I'm gonna give it a damn shot. So I'm gonna start off with The Test, which is a pretty short book and I have it on audio. And to my knowledge, this book is about like a test you have to go take from like the British government, like a citizenship test. And things go awry and things are different than what they seem. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with this, to be honest. I added to my TBR a really long time ago and it just kind of fit this prompt perfectly. So I went with it and I'm gonna get started on this today and hopefully get back to you later today. But I do have a lot of stuff going on. I did finish all my meetings for the day finally, but I do have quite a lot of errands I have to run today. I have to go to the library and re-request a book and I have to go return another book. I also have to go return some stuff to Target that I bought yesterday that I knew I was gonna return, but like I have to like go return it. I'd rather just get it over with. I need to get my nails done and there's something else I had to do. I have a couple different errands. It's gonna take me a hot minute. What's the other errand? Oh my God, I hate when that happens. But anyway, I have a lot of things going on today. So a really short audiobook shouldn't be a problem, but like I'm only gonna listen to it when I'm at work. And I do have some like modules I need to work on for my boss. So that will probably take me a hot minute. And so I'll definitely get finished, I would say today. And if not, I'll update you tomorrow because I'll probably listen to this during dinner. So I'll get going on this and let you guys know how it goes. But so far I'm like 10% in and it's like fine. I'm not really sure if it's like my thing. It's very like thrillery. Like it's like a hostage situation at this like citizenship test thing. So not sure how I feel about that. And my arm feels like it's gonna fall off. So I'm gonna end the video now. Talk to you later. I ended up running all my errands. It's after work and I did just get my nails done. And honestly, this was $50. That was it. $50. These are so fucking cute. I don't usually get designs. They're not usually like my thing, but I saw this picture on Pinterest and I kind of want to do something like that, but they didn't have like a bright red. They had kind of more like this orange color. So I went with this and honestly, they are so cute. I am absolutely obsessed. I love a little bit of a design too. It just makes it like look a little bit different. Like I love having just solid colors, but every now and then like I'm okay with like one accent color. Maybe it makes me a fucking millennial. I don't know, but I enjoy it. I'm really happy about it. Anyway, I'm gonna go pick up dinner and then I'll probably finish the test in that time period because I only have like 10 minutes left of this audiobook. I don't really know how to feel about it. I will have to fill you guys in tomorrow when I probably like digest my full thoughts, but it's not really my thing, but it's a very interesting concept. That's all I'll say.
I've been going nowhere lately. It's time to start all over and go for it. 'Cause they don't even know me yet. But that's something I don't regret. Every night I close.
So we're in the car again, which I did not plan, but like it just happened. I went out to go get some sweet tea because we are just obsessed with sweet tea ever since we moved to the South, because I just figured out if you put like half a lemon in it, it's like absolutely incredible. It is very refreshing. I just don't like sweet tea by itself and I don't like tea by itself. I really prefer like lemon in everything. I add lemon to everything. I had to turn off my car and it's getting really hot because it's like 90 degrees. So I'm gonna make this really quick, but I did finish the test. I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I feel like it's a cool concept. It's like a really cool Black Mirror episode where basically you go and take the citizenship test and it's more or less like a simulation and they're testing your hero complex to see if you could be a citizen. Oh, so I'm sorry, there's a very busy road behind me. Anyway, so I feel like that's a cool concept. Goddamn trucks. So it's a cool concept. Don't really know how I feel about it. It wasn't that interesting. You know what I mean? Like I liked listening to it and it was like, okay, but I mean, I don't have a thing for hostage situations. For some reason, they just kind of bother me. I'm not a big fan of action movies. It's the same thing. Like I just feel like it has the same energy and I don't really care for it. Very quick read. I don't know if I'd recommend it. I just don't really think it's like something that I would like ever read again. And it's not something I feel like people that read and like what I like would like, but I mean, you never know. And so I then moved on to A House with Good Bones, which I ended up finishing And I really like this book. I really like T. Kingfisher's writing. I read her other book, The Hollow Places, and I gave that one, I think, right up to like 4 stars. This one's gonna get 3 out of me. I feel like this one fell flat a little bit. It's very Southern Gothic, which I enjoyed. It takes place in North Carolina. She brought up cheerwine, which is really funny. Cheerwine is actually a cherry cola that originated here in North Carolina. It's like, I'm gonna call it like the state drink or something. I don't know. It's also a thing in South Carolina as well. So it's like a Carolina thing in general. I love that she brought in so many elements of North Carolina because it is the South, and a lot of people do forget that. It was literally part of the fucking Confederacy. So like if you forget, just remember who was in the Confederacy, you'll know who's in the South. That's just how I remember it anyway. And she brought up so many good points, and she really made the atmosphere Southern Gothic. Like I really, really enjoyed that. However, it took us way too long to kind of get to the ending, and the ending wasn't that cool. I mean, basically, our main character Sam goes home to see her mother because Sam is a archaeoentomologist. I hope I'm saying that right, but she basically like studies bugs from like archaeological dig sites, which is cool. And that's like her entire life. And she's on a dig in North Carolina that gets furloughed, so she goes back home and visit her mom. Like, why not? She's there for a couple weeks or whatever. Visit your mommy. So she goes to visit her mom, and her mom is just weird, acting weird, not swearing, not acting as normal, put up like a Confederate picture again that she's like, why is that on the wall? Grandma liked it, you don't, why is it there? Just kind of acting strange. There's also ladybugs everywhere. They find some weird jars of things in the garden. There's vultures watching the house. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. We don't really know what it is. And I liked that bit. I liked the Gothic atmosphere that worked for me. But like we have this like Gothic buildup, and it wasn't very spooky or scary. I wasn't ever chilled or anything. I just thought it was kind of a cool atmosphere. And then we finally get to the ending, which is like the last 30% of this novel. And I just feel like it just really wasn't doing it for me. I think the thing is too, especially like horror novels or thrillers, you're always kind of like envisioning what you think is going to happen at the end, and none of that happened, which is fine, but like it just kind of wasn't a cool enough of an answer to explain the ending for me and explain like the magic and the haunted house that we have going on here. I just feel like it didn't really work for me at all, I guess. It's definitely a shame because I feel like it had like really cool potential, but like the ending just didn't wow me. And I feel like if we had that build up to like a really cool ass ending, this would have at least gotten 4 stars, and it just didn't, because it just didn't deliver. And it's a shame because I do enjoy her writing. It's easy to read. I absorb it. I think it's very atmospheric, and that's something I love about her other book too. But this one just didn't deliver on the ending. It didn't deliver on the creepy factor. I liked the familial tie-ins and stuff, like that was cool, but the rest of it, I just kind of wanted more. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I would recommend this one. I think you guys should go into it, especially if you want like a Southern Gothic feel. You'll really enjoy it. But don't expect anything cool out of the ending. I would lower your expectations, because I kept thinking it was gonna be something really cool because I really liked the build-up, but it just didn't go anywhere. So anyway, I'm not really sure if that book put me in a reading slump or I'm just picking up bad books, but I picked up The Girls, which is next on my list, and I'm like 10% in. Put it down. This one's about a cult in 1960s Northern California, which is where I grew up. So I was anticipating me to enjoy it, but I feel like honestly, I kind of need to go back and like re-listen to it because I'm already kind of bored. Like I kind of like checked out. And then I tried California, which is a like dystopian novel about mid-apocalypse, like the apocalypse has happened, but they're not like fully there yet. And one of the main characters thinks she's pregnant, and they have to like go try to find like a different community. Got 10% in, also put it down. I didn't DNF these. I didn't put them down. I just like listened to like whatever I could, and then I got bored. That's happened to me a lot lately. So I don't think it's necessarily these books, but like once I'm kind of like done with the book for a second, I need a day or two and I need to pick up something else. So I have a couple other options to pick up. But in the meantime, I'm reading a lot of physical books for other reading vlogs anyway, so I might just pick up those. But that's my update for now. I'm not sure which one I'm going to continue with. I might pick up a totally different fucking book, but for now, those are the ones I started, and hopefully I can pick one and stick with it. The sun is incredibly bright, but maybe you can see I have a pimple patch on. Yeah, I forgot to point that out, but anyway, my toxic trait is pulling them off a little bit too early and then reapplying another one. What is going on with this chaotic energy right now? Anyway, I doctored up my tea and I'm gonna go ahead and read. But also I wanted to point out, you know, I keep wondering how I'm getting sunburnt, but when I sit in the sun like this, obviously the sun is fucking hitting me, so wish me luck.
Tears fall at last.
So I'm at the farmer's market and it's like 73 and raining really incredibly hard. I don't know if you can see the water droplets and it's literally running off my arm. That was some intense rain. But anyway, I went to the farmer's market. I spent $17 and I got these green onions, $3. I got this heirloom tomato because I really wanted one. I have no idea how much this was. It was part of, I think this was $5 because it was like $4 a pound. I'm pretty sure this tomato itself was $5. I feel like sometimes the farmer's markets are like a little bit of a rip off, but like I can't find this anywhere else. And then I got this lovely bunch of Swiss chard for dinner this week. And I love being able to just like bring my macrame bag. Love that. And I got this lovely amount of strawberries. I haven't had any fresh strawberries this season. I probably should like wash these, but I kind of don't care. That is a delight. So anyway, I'm gonna go about my day. And I kind of wish I had a towel to dry off. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little wetter than I would like. Oh my god, it's drenched. Anyway, welcome to the South. Have a lovely day. As an update, I just got home. The entire way home, it was raining that hard that on the freeway, everybody had their hazards on. Not everybody. The good drivers had their hazards on because we were going 40 on the freeway the whole way there. I literally couldn't see anything, and my wipers were on the highest setting that I have on my vehicle, and it was honestly a little nerve-wracking, and it was a little terrifying. That wasn't the fun day that I envisioned, but at least I got home now, and it's not raining as bad over here. And at some point while I was on the highway, we hit like the eye of the storm where there was nothing. Like the roads were like almost dry, and we could go back to like a normal speed, and then I could literally see the wall of rain in front of us, and I was like, oh my god. So that was really fun and nerve-wracking. And yeah, and then my brother's gonna go, he got us lunch, and he's gonna come back and be here in just a minute. So PSA, I'm okay, but that was not a fun time, and I was really far from home, so it took me 30 minutes to get home in this god-awful rain. That was really fun. Have a lovely day.
Maybe it's too soon. Yeah, you know we just met. What I got to lose? Gonna send me a jet.
Hello, I just wanted to pop in and say, I decided to get a fucking salad spinner finally because I've been wanting one for fucking years, man, because I need to dry up my fucking produce and it drives me insane, and I've always wanted one, so I spent $20 and bought one, and I'm really fucking happy.
Feel you here tonight, and I know you're home alone, just staring at your phone, so just come and meet me here tonight. I'm at a house in town with cars in the front. You'll probably hear the sound from the roof above. I know we only just met, but this could be fun. You should come, yeah, you should come. 'Cause there's a room upstairs where nobody goes, and I'll be good, I swear. Just need you alone. I know we only just met, but this could be fun. You should come, yeah, you should come. Are you staying in, or are you down to go out? If it gets too late, we'll go back to my house. Better get here fast, 'cause I really need to feel you right now. 'Cause I know you're ADD, but just focus here on me, 'cause I need to feel you here tonight.
It's probably been about a week and a half to 2 weeks since I last spoke with you guys, but I'm here for the update. So I did finish all of the books in the month of April for this readathon. However, I did not update you on like the last 5 books. Life just got incredibly busy, and I feel like sometimes whenever I give you my thoughts and opinions on a book, sometimes I will lose speed and lose steam on it because I feel like, oh look, I've completed a book, I got my dopamine rush. So if I don't talk about it, then sometimes I feel like I didn't do it, which is why I decided to finish all these and then talk to you. But also I had a friend come in town and they stayed overnight, and then we picked them up a couple days later at the airport and spent all day with them. So I basically had 2 days where I didn't do any reading, editing, all that fun junk. And on top of it, my work was bought out by a different company, which happened forever ago, but now we're finally doing the migration. That's been a hot mess. So updating you guys has kind of come to the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately. But I also, some days I really wanted to, and I lost steam. I didn't have enough energy. Sometimes you don't have enough spoons. And if you understand that metaphor, you get what I'm talking about. And some days I didn't have any spoons left. But today I do. So the next book that I ended up finishing was The Girls. And I just also wanted to point this out because I ended up never releasing my TBR for this because I realized it was just too late. And I was like, I'm not gonna release TBR like 3 days before this fucking video comes out. So anyway, the reason I chose The Girls is because this was the one that the book had to match a picture. And so I actually ended up choosing this picture for it, which is a picture of me from like years ago on like Snapchat. And I feel like it just had like the same energy, same color, same vibe. So that's why I chose The Girls. This book, unfortunately, is gonna get 2 stars out of me. We're following Evie, who is a troubled teenager who is basically brought into this Manson-esque cult in like 1969. Listen, the Manson murders is not really something that I find titillating. I feel like it's just really gross and sad. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not one of those girlies that is like obsessed with the Manson murders, so I don't really actually know a whole lot about the murders and what really happened. But in this book, I definitely did not see like how the cult came to take place. It didn't feel like Evie was in a cult. She could leave whenever she wanted. She went back home to beg for money. Like, I just didn't really get the cult vibe from this. But a lot of this was really slow too. Like, I almost DNF'd this book a couple of times because it's very, very, very slow. And I really like historical fiction that could be slow, but I just didn't find this one very interesting. It just is, a lot of it was like kind of her coming of age, but when it got to like the cult part, it didn't feel like it was a cult. It just felt like she had a bunch of friends that were like not good for her. It wasn't any like weird cult roles. It was kind of like more like she was expected to have sex with him. I just feel like that's not super culty, in my opinion. And then at the end, obviously, whenever he's like trying to get everybody to kill for him, I'm like, why would you do that? You don't barely even, I feel like this dude is not a cult leader whatsoever. So I don't know. It didn't really have cult vibes. The only thing I can say is I did kind of appreciate like the sexualization of young girls in this and how as a young girl, like you look at things and you think of things and how she was so little and she like wanted to be sexualized because she thought that was like normal and like made her a woman. And I feel like that was a very poignant point. But other than that, 2 stars, not that interesting. The next one I read was California, which to me was my most disappointing read. I really thought I was gonna like 4 or 5 star this bad boy. It's a dystopian novel. Like, I just have such a soft spot for dystopian novels, but I ended up giving this 1.5 stars. This is basically like a mid-apocalyptic novel. We're following Frida and Cal, and they are basically surviving like 2 years after the apocalypse. So it's like not like full apocalypse feeling where there's like absolutely no hope. It's like there's still some semblance of like an old life, and they're just kind of figuring out their way in the world. I have no idea how they even survived 2 years because they obviously have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And on top of that, this whole story really starts because Frida realizes she's pregnant because she doesn't get a period anymore. I find that very surprising that in an apocalypse where you're surviving off of beets and you obviously are terrible at hunting and gathering, that you're somehow still having a period is shocking to me after 2 years. And the fact that your period stopped and that's how you knew that you were pregnant. I feel like I could have used some more signs or something that made it a little more believable. I also just feel like that wasn't that interesting of an inciting incident. And then on top of that, I just feel like if you're gonna make that your main storyline, can you make it interesting? Because honestly, it was very fucking boring. And both these characters were like infuriating and immature and just really, really difficult to like. They were very unlikable and they weren't interesting unlikable. Some people are unlikable, but you're kind of rooting for them. I didn't get that feeling at all for them. They honestly were so fucking frustrating, like the most ridiculous bumbling idiots. And then on top of that, they're basically trying to like find the settlement that they can like raise their child and be safe in. They realize it's not what it seems. It just didn't really have anything interesting going for it. I feel like this is a very forgettable dystopian novel. I liked kind of the twist, the ending. Not that I feel like it's far-fetched. I just feel like it wasn't interesting enough to have that boring of a lead up. I just feel like all of their storylines were so fucking boring till like the very end. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of what's going on. I just feel like there was no good hinting, like nothing made any sense. Like it wasn't like good confusing. It was just like boring. I was very bored. Like a lot of these novels I picked, I have to say I was very bored. Like this was another one I had to force myself to listen to, and there were so many parts I had to go back and listen to because I completely zoned the fuck out. I think that if you're gonna have a novel that's a little bit boring, you need to have interesting characters, and Cal and Frida just were not those characters. When they weren't having sex, they were fighting because they obviously don't get along. They don't talk anything out. They have nothing in fucking common. They just like to screw. And listen, I understand the apocalypse. Maybe there's something else to do, but like at the same time, it's the apocalypse. Do you really want a fucking baby, bro? Like, especially if she's still having her period. This just didn't work for me. That's all I can say. I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. Settle in. I still have 3 more books to fucking go. So the next one was The Children on the Hill. This is by Jennifer McMahon. I really enjoy her. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. I enjoy her novels no matter what. Like, I really like her writing, but this one basically is kind of like a take on Frankenstein. So we're basically thrown into the past. We're following these little kids, and their grandmother is a doctor, like an asylum. She's doing some testing. She's doing some illegal stuff. And then in present day, we have Lizzie, who is doing like a podcast where she finds monsters, and she's basically going back to her main town where she grew up to find her sister, who is one of those famous monsters who like kidnap children. Okay, sounded kind of interesting. I'm not really into monsters or whatever. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably one of my least favorite Jennifer McMahons. I'm probably doing a really poor job of describing this because I feel like this book is a little hard to describe. I think especially because it can't say too much or I'm gonna spoil it for you, because it's one of those, if you know too much, you know too much, and then it ruins the entire thing. I have to say the ending I liked the least. I feel like the explanation for this didn't really do it for me. I didn't really find it very satisfying. I like the last couple pages. That was interesting. I think it was the most sinister and fun part of this book. The rest of it, I just didn't really care enough. Like, of course, girls are missing and she thinks it's her sister, so she's basically investigating it. And of course, we go back in time in different offsetting chapters, but I didn't really find that interesting. I mean, I enjoy Jennifer McMahon's writing no matter what, so I think that's always why, like, I'm not ever, like, bored reading her books, but, like, I wasn't really that interested in the mystery. I didn't really care about it. And I think the ending was a little disappointing. It was kind of, like, not really a payoff, but then, like, the last couple pages added something in that I liked. So it got 3 stars. I still really enjoyed it. I would recommend her other books first, like The Winter People or The Invited, or maybe even like The Drowning Kind. I just feel like this one's definitely one of my least favorite ones of hers, but it wasn't bad by any means. I'm not really interested in monster stories and like girls being kidnapped. It just didn't really shuck my corn, you know what I mean? Okay, now on to the only 5-star of this entire fucking vlog, and I'm very surprised at this, but I chose Steelheart. This book I really thought I was gonna give like 1 or 2 stars. You know, it's funny because I love Sanderson's writing, but I didn't really find this premise that interesting. It is the only book that I had that fit the fucking prompt. That's literally it. This is 5 stars. Like, oh my god, I'm ruining my hair. Like, I'm literally getting so excited talking about this. But I was completely hooked from the prologue on. Like, that prologue lives rent-free forever in my mind. It was that scarring and that well written. I will never forget it as long as I live. But basically, Steelheart is about superheroes, which I'm not really like into, right? They're called epics, and all the epics are pretty much out for bad. So in the prologue of this book, an epic kills our main character's father right in front of him. But we realize that this epic now has a weakness because he was hurt on his cheek. So to cover up his weakness, he basically like buried the bank and all those things that happened to hide the fact that he has a weakness. Long story short, 10 years in the future, our main character is still set on revenge. David is out for fucking blood, dude. He will kill Steelheart if his life depends on it. And he's literally spent the last 10 years of his life learning everything he can about epics. I think that's one of the reasons I love this book, is because I love David as a main character. He's so obsessive with these epics and he knows everything about them. It's like, imagine them like real life Pokemon. Like, he knows everything. He knows the weaknesses. He knows the strengths. He knows what class they're in. He knows everything about these epics. He literally has notebooks full of information. Like, it's so fucking good though. This book is so fast paced. It is so much fun. Like, I was obsessed with this book. I did not want to put this one down. I didn't have this one on audio. I had to read it physically. And every single night, I literally like was so excited to go to bed and brush my teeth and literally read this fucking book. My only frustrating bit of this was, I don't have time for like the fake swear words like sparks or slants or whatever. I'd much prefer crap, you know, especially, I don't understand it's a young adult novel, but like, you can at least use the word crap or darn or something. Like, I didn't mind sparks as much, but slants and calamity was like a little ridiculous. It's like the fake swear words, but I understand Sanderson is very religious. He doesn't use swear words in any of his stuff. Just a little weird. That prologue literally has scarred me for life. There's literally a part in it where an epic dissolves someone's infant baby in their arms to fucking ash, and she's trying to hold on to the bones with her like baby blanket. I literally was like near tears. This is the prologue, dude. This isn't even the fucking book. This is the prologue. And Sanderson is just an incredible writer. He ended it incredibly with like such a fucking twist that I didn't understand. He always gives me these twists that I actually cannot fucking ever like guess. Like, I can guess part of it, but never like the whole fucking thing, dude. And he just like bam, 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 surprise. I didn't guess any of it. I'm very excited to move on to the second installment in this. I have no idea what it's even fucking called. I'm gonna look it up and I'm probably gonna read it in the next few months here because I have to see where this is gonna go. It's that good. And on to the last book I read for this, which I really should have DNF'd. Red Rising. This book I really was expecting a lot more out of. I'm giving it 1 star. I really tried with this book. It was the most confusing book I think I've read in a very, very long time. It couldn't decide what scenery it wanted to give. It couldn't decide what characters it was gonna give. This book just wasn't giving. It just didn't know what it wanted to do. I've also built it up in my mind as like a good series. So like, I went into this with like nice expectations. Like, I was expecting this to be good. I kept like trying to like go for it. It just didn't work for me. I tried reading this book physically back in 2020. I got to chapter 2, kept rereading it like over and over and over. Decided to return it to the library. I wasn't wrong, okay? Usually when I can't get into a book, that means something. Every now and then I am wrong. Like the show Dark. I watched the first episode like 3 times before I could finally get into the series, okay? Listen, sometimes we make mistakes, but this is one of those times where I should listen to my gut and DNF'd it. I can honestly say I don't really know anything about this fucking book. I read it and I literally have no idea what's even going on. But basically, Darrow is our main character. He has a wife. They live underground. They're Reds. They are literally like slaves of the lowest kind. She is hanged for an offense. He buries her dead body, which is an offense, which is illegal. He is then fake hanged and survives. Now he's going to be the golden boy for like the rebellion against the government. So he didn't ask for this. The rebellion literally chose him. Don't know why. And they basically turn him into a gold. So like, there's different levels of metals for people. I honestly couldn't tell you much about them. There are even things like pinks and obsidians. Like, I don't fucking know. There's a couple of different classes of people in this world, but it's very, very confusing. All I know is like the pinks are like the people who are like sex slaves and masseuses and whatever. Anyway, so they turn him into a golden boy because they want him to go to this elite school where they train like politicians, presidents, leaders of this world. And also he finds out that basically his entire life is a lie because they thought that they were like terraforming Mars or something, but it turns out people have been living on Mars for like hundreds of years now, and they're just using his entire like class of people as slave labor, and they're lying to them. Justifiably, you're angry. I get it. So they're basically gonna put him into this golden elite school where he can learn to be a leader and get chosen to like, I don't know. And listen, this is so confusing. So it's taking place on Mars. They need like gravity boots, and in this school, like everything is like terraformed into like the Scottish Highlands, and there's like fucking castles and shit, but they're like jumping across the fucking like rolling hills in gravity boots. I'm so lost, dude. It was so hard to fucking picture this. I was so confused. This is literally like weird. It's like they're playing war games too. Like they're literally trying to like capture each other's military bases. This honestly felt like a really weird, bad male knockoff of the Hunger Games with like a lot of like sexual assault and like disgusting, brutal scenes that had absolutely no merit on the rest of the novel. Like, I think they're trying to make a point against a tyrannical regime. I don't fucking know. Honestly, I'm so confused, and I'm still confused. Like, I don't understand it. I don't even know where it's trying to go. It doesn't make any sense that they're trying to get him into this school so he can, like, lead. What happens when he's a leader? Is he gonna, like, change stuff? What if he gets assassinated? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get the point. And I saw a lot of people comparing this to the Hunger Games, and I, like, wholeheartedly agree. This is, like, just a really weird knockoff version of that makes no sense. Like, if you just want the Hunger Games, please just go read the Hunger Games because it's a fantastic 5-star novel and reread every single time. But this makes no sense because it's like electronic, like they obviously terraformed it and they're like in like an arena that's like fucking huge and like a military thing. But like it's the Scottish Highlands, but like there's technology, but then there's like spears. I don't know. I'm confused. There was a lot of weird nudity and a lot of sexual assault in here. It was just kind of gross. And there was a point where someone has to like saw off an appendage, and like I didn't find that brutality interesting. I didn't find it worthwhile. I didn't find this book to be like worth it. Would I continue on in the series? Probably not. I just feel like I don't understand this world enough anyway to care enough to continue. Like I'm still so confused and I don't like it. And I don't know why Darrow was chosen. I don't feel like he does anything for the story. I don't know anything about this dude. I feel like he doesn't even have like the fight to fight for his people because I don't know what the fuck he's fighting for. Anyway, I am so sorry that this is so late. I do apologize. It is much later than anticipated, but I hopefully have a lot of good stuff coming up here in May and June. I'm planning a lot of really cool reading vlogs, like for me, that they're a little bit different. So I hope you do enjoy those. I hope you enjoy this reading vlog, and I do apologize. It is so late, but I will talk to you guys all very, very soon, and have a lovely day.